Welcome back to Harmonious World, and I'm delighted to be joined this week by Italian jazz pianist Marco Marconi. I first met Marco back in 2019 at Benslow Music, where he was playing, and I was blown away by his style and his musicianship. And I thought it would be nice to hear his story. And even though he lives in the same town as me in Hitchin, he joined me online to tell me more about his story and what he's been doing over lockdown. Thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it. Thank you. We've met quite a lot of times, and I was really pleased that you were able to come on my radio show back in March, literally the day before we went into lockdown.
Exactly. I remember that.
Yeah, which is crazy. And your gig at the Pheasantry with Graham was the last gig I went to before lockdown.
And it's the last gig I did perform too. So
it's crazy, isn't it? It's crazy.
Oh God, really crazy times. Absolutely.
Before we start talking about lockdown and what you've been doing, and because you've been doing lots and lots of live streaming of gigs and things, which is great.
Yes, yeah.
But before we do that, can you give me a bit of background? Because obviously people who listen to my podcast may not necessarily know very much about you. So, you know, where did you come from? How did you end up in Hitchin, which is like so crazy?
Okay. Oh, to answer this question, it could be 3 hours long because
let's have the
I will try to do a concentrate answer. My name is Marco Marconi. I'm an Italian jazz pianist and composer, and my family has got a long tradition in music. My grandfather was my first maestro. I have a slightly younger brother. He's a trumpeter, and for both of us, he was the first maestro we had. He taught us everything related to the music. He did teach us to read music. I started with the clarinet actually when I was 6, and then I think when I was 12 or 13, I started piano as well, because I did like my grandfather. I forgot to mention, was an accordion player. He used to play accordion and tuba.
Not at the same time.
No, that is very difficult. If you know somebody does at the same time, please introduce himself to me. Yeah. So despite I was playing the clarinet, I was fascinated by different instruments. And looking at him playing the accordion, I tried to play the accordion. I have the accordion here. So I play the accordion too, but I'm not gigging around. It's not my instrument. I can play, let's say, decently, but nothing extreme. And so I started the piano, and that until the age of 18, 19, I have studied both. Then I started to, with the school, with everything, I started to do some concerts in Italy, national competitions, some international competitions. And gradually I got to the point that I didn't have time to practice seriously both instruments, and I decided to carry on with the piano. If I did right or wrong, I don't know. I do like what I've done so far. I'm very happy, so probably has been the right choice. I remember I did choose piano simply because I thought it could give me more ways to follow, Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
With the clarinet, it's more, let's say, selective, or you are a concert player, or you end up playing clarinet in an orchestra. Instead, with the piano, it was one of those things that you feel, I felt, let me carry on with the piano. And, but yeah, if you ask me what is the difference between classical music and jazz music, this is another interesting question, because until that age, I was purely classical. I used to practice classical music, full immersion every day, 5-6 hours performing piano for an upcoming concert or an upcoming competition. But then happened that I have two things happened that made me the decision to carry on with jazz. One was I have a slightly older cousin. He still is a sax player, clarinet sax player, and he was living very, very close to me. I was visiting him every day, and one afternoon I remember he was listening to different music in my ears, and I said, "Paolo, what is this music?" He said, "This is Gerry Mulligan. He's
Oh,
an American sax player." Hmm. Gosh, I like it that. And then I remember just 2, 3 months later, in my hometown, I knew from other musicians, friends, an important Italian jazz pianist started giving lessons, tuitions in a local school. And I was very curious. I said, let me try, let me open the door, let me do a lesson with him, let me see what is this music. And I got absolutely addicted immediately. Listened to
wow.
him, yeah. But for a few years, I studied both because I did carry on performing concerts, competitions. I've done a couple of very big international competitions. One at the La Fenice Theatre, the Phoenix Theatre in Venice, and another one in Germany. And but yeah, so in brief, gradually, I got to the point that I started to practice and perform jazz more than classical. And despite I'm playing classical music even now every day, I deeply love Bach, Chopin, all the composers. But yeah, now my life, my business, my world is jazz, purely
That,
jazz.
that's interesting you say, but it's not actually purely jazz, is it? Because when you play, there's a virtuosity that stems from, I think, your classical studies. I mean,
Exactly.
I don't think you're alone in that, but in terms of jazz pianists, but I think the classical stuff, you quite often, the way you play sometimes, that bar playing around with the chords, I can't explain it. It's very classical in nature.
Yeah. I think you mean reharmonizing Bach,
Yes.
in a jazz way with jazz harmony. That's something I deeply love to do. I
Yeah.
recorded in my not in my latest trio album, in the one before, which is called Trialogue in 2017. One of the track is a Bach Preludium, which I rearranged in a is a jazz version. So what I did, I actually left all the chords Bach wrote, but I made them in a jazz way, and then with the drums and double bass contribute has been I'm quite proud.
Yeah.
So we did very good, and yes, it's something I did. That wasn't the only time I did that. I did that another time in my we go back 10 years in another album in piano solo recorded at the Fazioli Concert Hall, the piano maker in Italy. They have an astonishing concert hall.
Oh,
So I recorded an album called Mosaico, and one of the track, which is called A Big Heart, is actually a Chopin prelude, which I rearranged in a particular way. So
right.
it's something I like to do very much.
Yeah, no, it's wonderful. It's amazing. And my last podcast actually was, I interviewed Mark Wade,
Yeah,
and of course I heard the two of you playing at Benslow in February, and that was really interesting because he's come in the other direction. He's come from kind of rock and
exactly.
and so he's discovering classical music via rock and jazz, whereas you're coming at it from the other side. But when the two of you get together, that's really interesting. Um,
Absolutely.
those
Mark is one
harmonics.
of the most beautiful bassists around the world. I've been lucky enough to meet him and play with him, and I'm glad that you could be there that night. What I told him, I said that to keep inside that to everybody. we managed to do a very good concert. Really, I say this really humbling, but that was the powerful of jazz, because it's quite difficult to explain, but I realized immediately that we managed to deliver and playing together such a beautiful concert without any rehearsal. And I said to
Yeah.
Mark, can you imagine, you are in Manhattan, I'm in London, we have an ocean in the middle. We can't see each other once a week or anything like that.
No.
But think about potentially what we could do together if we could enough to live closer. So that is one of the absolutely big power related to jazz. I love it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So how did you end up living in London? Well, in the UK, and then why Hitchin, I guess, is the question.
Because I married a British girl.
Very sensible, very wise man.
Very straightforward answer. I met my wife Salian in Italy because I used to play not far from me. There is such a lovely luxury hotel, and we go back in 2003. I used to play there almost every night as a pianist. And I remember one day I arrived there in the afternoon, and the owner was, again, an English lady, said, we have a new general manager starting working here at the hotel today. She said she's a singer. She's an operatic singer, but she sings jazz as well. Would you mind to play a couple of numbers together tonight? I said, why not? So, and we met, and then happened what happened. So we met in Italy. She's an operatic singer. She speaks Italian beautifully because she lived in Rome for 10 years. She moved to Italy in order to study the bel canto, yes. And she's a cello player as well. Not anymore now because she's too busy, but then we married in 2005. We bought a property, lovely house in Italy, in Umbria, by the Tuscany border. But as you remember, as everybody remember, the financial crisis after Lehman Brothers Bank and everything happened. And remember 2011, 2012, I used to teach in 4 different schools. And I saw every week I had 1 or 2 parents calling me saying, we had to stop, our son can't carry on anymore. So I saw that I didn't see a bright future ahead. No. We had a chat together. She was more in pain than me, despite she's English, because she loves Italy more than me. But we got the decision to move here because was better. And actually, despite restarting a life from scratch was extremely difficult, I am very proud of myself about what I'm doing because I really started a new life. I started with 1 student, 2 students, 3 students. I met a girl, a singer. I started to gigging around, and then, like a spider net, I started to do better and better. And now I'm doing quite well. So after 8 years in Hitchin, because my brother-in-law lives in Hitchin. So when we moved, because our daughter Emma, who is now 13, she was 5 when we moved. She just started the school, and we wanted to move here because my brother-in-law has got 2 daughters, and my daughter's cousins. So we didn't move to a place for her. We thought quite a lot about her.
Right.
Could be quite traumatic. Actually, she was an angel. She absolutely did everything perfectly. She's very happy here. And so that's why Hitchin. Actually, I could move around, which was cheaper, but we have chosen Hitchin because life in Hitchin is beautiful. We like Hitchin very much.
Yeah, it's a great place, isn't it? And and of course we've got Benslow, which they're starting gradually doing more and more courses up there. So hopefully we should be able to do concerts, go to concerts again there soon. Don't know
Yeah,
when.
I have an upcoming online course next week, and I never did. I'm doing online lessons. Everybody do that.
Yeah.
Experienced online lessons during the lockdown, but I never did teach to 7, 8 students contemporary. And I'm quite normally my courses I ask the students to play together. I don't know with the latency and everything if that is going to be possible, but they know I'm not doing miracles, and I think they're going to be quite understanding, so should be okay.
Fantastic. Right. Okay. So that brings us to lockdown. So you embraced lockdown very early, didn't you? You kind of went, right, that's it, let's do this. Was that partly because you saw what was happening in Italy? Because obviously Italy was a few weeks ahead of us.
Exactly. Yeah. Italy, yeah, we are here not probably 3 weeks behind, and yeah, I saw the situation. I tell you the truth, at the beginning I was one of those. I was saying, oh, come on, it's just a flu, probably it's a bit
Yeah.
nasty. But then when I saw the situation in Italy, I said, I think I'm wrong. I did apologize to quite a few on Facebook, and they
Yeah.
were absolutely right, because when you lose 800, 900 people in one day, that's no normal.
No,
So,
that's right.
and yeah, so I started to, for 2, 3 weeks I've done nothing. I adjusted. Then I thought, probably because I thought other people doing that, I thought that I could make people at home during the lockdown a bit happy, delivering to them 1 hour of music. And I decided to stream one concert a week every Saturday at 8 p.m. BST. So the first one I was quite afraid. Said, I, I'm not one of those that used to play. I normally play online, but I decided to do, and has been well. I had lots of views, lots of comment around the world, mainly from England and Italy, of course, but people are watching me from Spain, Portugal, America, even Japan, Korea, Australia, New Zealand.
Wow.
Yes, has been absolutely beautiful. Big appreciation and lots of lovely comments.
Yeah. Your style of playing is mesmerizing. It takes you to a different world. I think it takes you out of the ordinary everyday stuff, and it enables you to escape, which I think is lovely.
Yeah,
I'm fascinated, and I think the nice thing when watching you do it live is that everybody gets the best seat in the house because everybody is sitting right there watching you play.
yeah, yeah.
You haven't got to look round there's not somebody sitting in front of you, there's not a column that you have to watch round, or you know what I mean, everybody can just see you playing. I think it's brilliant.
I tell you now, my personal experience. At the beginning, I thought to stream this concert via Zoom, like now. But then, for some reason, I've done a couple of tests with friends, and they all said the sound quality is not great. I said, "Oh, come on, I can't perform an hour." And people that during the concert or after saying the concert was good, but the quality of sound wasn't. And
No.
I thought, and then I got the decision to stream the concerts via Facebook. I wanted to do via Zoom for one reason, because I wanted to recreate the kind of atmosphere you have if you come to see me in a club, okay?
Right.
Because
Yeah.
we see each other through the screen. But what happened on Facebook, you need to film yourself with the rear camera, not with the front camera.
Oh
And
yes, of course. Yeah.
practically I
Yeah.
was performing, and then between songs I used to say, okay, thank you so much, thank you, pretending in my head people was clapping. That was so awful.
Oh yeah, you did it really well. I thought it was brilliant.
Thank you so much. I really enjoyed. I did perform around 150 jazz standards, mix of jazz standards and original compositions, so that was good.
Yeah. And that's what I was going to ask you, actually. How did you, I liked your balance of your original stuff, but also the standards. And I love, that's one of the things I love about jazz, is that Summertime or Night and Day, or, you know, any of those classics, All of Me or whatever, they're never played, nobody ever plays them exactly the same. You don't play them the same way that you played them last time, and you don't play them the same as anybody else. There's it's always different, and I love that.
Yeah, because it's improvised. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
to be honest with you, when I perform, for example, Summertime, I normally perform Summertime not in the same way, but I have my favorite groove, you know. But I also like to challenge myself and play the tune always in a different way, because people get that very much from the other side.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your kind words.
No, that's good. And what the one thing that I've found interesting is I've been talking about you to other people through the through lockdown, and using you as an example. I interviewed Claire Teal.
Oh yeah.
I was talking to her about you, and Rob Luft.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, and he he used the mafia word, the Italian mafia. I said, I bet you know. I bet you know my friend Marco. He said, "Oh, Marco Marconi, yeah." It's like the Italian mafia, you know. It's like all of the Italian expats who live in the UK, you know, you all know each other.
Okay, after the podcast, I need to text him because that was very rude. Rob is great guitar player. We never met each other personally. Do you know that?
Really?
No,
Oh,
we know each other very well, but no, I never
no,
met him.
you have to, you would get on really well with him. He's a great guy. I saw him at Club 85 last year, I think, with Corey Dick. You know Corey Dick?
Yeah,
the drummer?
in December. I couldn't go to that gig because I had a gig myself that night. But
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, that was such a great gig. I love Rob's playing. It's great.
He's young. He's very young. Absolutely
Yeah.
beautiful player. Yes.
Yeah. But I think what's interesting is more and more people are starting to know who you are. I think it was when the Live at the Bear Club CD came out that I think one of the tracks was played on Jazz FM.
Yeah.
And I was texting. I think it was Chris Gilvear who played it. It might have been Nigel Williams, but it was one of those.
No, it was Chris.
Well, it was Chris.
Yeah.
And I can remember, you know, I was like on Twitter, I was going, "Oh yeah, Marco, he lives in my town," you know. It's like I could see him all the time, and because I saw you quite a lot over Christmas, because you know I went to events at Benslow and all sorts of things, you know.
Yeah. The second part of last year was very, very busy for me, very productive. I had a lot of concerts, both with my trio after the album recording and with other formations I usually performing with.
Yeah.
So yeah, but then the lockdown arrived and bloof, everything collapsed.
It's crazy, isn't it? So, which brings me to then, what's next? You know, what have you got anything booked in yet for being out in the real world?
Not 100%. Just 2 hours ago, I was on the phone with one of the organizers at this place. I tell you now, where is practically in Bushy. There is a lodge, a lovely lodge. It's called Gravelly Lodge, the Gravelly Lodge, and I had the concert booked and sold out last April, which obviously has been cancelled, and we are trying to reschedule the concert on Saturday the 5th of September.
Wow.
Probably it's gonna be 100% confirmed in a week time. But let's say 99% is the Gravelly Lodge, Marco Marconi piano solo, Saturday 5th September at 3 p.m.
Oh, fantastic.
As soon as I have the confirmation, I'm gonna advertise the concert myself on via Facebook, via social media, and you will definitely know. And
fantastic.
Like everybody else.
And Mark said that you have got a course booked at Benslow for next year with him as well. Is that right?
Let's
and
hope
then
by
you'll do some. Sorry, and then you'll do some more gigs around the country, will you?
That's the plan. That's the plan. Because obviously, for Mark coming over from New York with the flight and everything, that helped him to cover
Make it
everything,
worthwhile.
even to have a small profit. Why not?
Yeah.
Last time he managed to be here a week, I think 6 days. Now we're planning. We left each other months ago saying, let's try to do a couple of weeks, which for him would be better. So the idea is to run another course together and to do probably 7-8 gigs together. Me, him, and Emiliano Caroselli, who is my drummer in my group. So Mark is very happy with him, and so I'm very pleased. He's brilliant. Such a guy, such a lovely drummer, jazzer.
I know, he's great, isn't he? He's really, I really liked his playing. It's really good. So I saw you with Graham Smith. That's the singer. He's crazy, and that was such a shame because that felt like the start of something really exciting. And of course, it wasn't. It was. We sort of knew that something was going to happen because it was the week before it all kicked off with lockdown.
Yeah.
And we sort of knew that something was going to happen, but we had no idea it was going to be, as bad as it has been.
Absolutely. And with Graham, again, that was another duo which was born just a month before the gig you came at the Pheasantry. That was 5th of March, if I
think so.
And Graham contacted me, so we decided to put together this duo. I really believe in this duo because potentially we could do amazing things ahead. Graham is, as you know, he has not particular, I believe, is a unique voice because to be a countertenor is not common, and he's so versatile. He can sing everything. He's so amazing.
Yes, and I think that's what was particularly nice about that gig at the Pheasantry was that he did everything from kind of standards that were almost poppy through jazz and to the sort of operatic, aria at the end that was phenomenal, just amazing.
Absolutely. We have amazing plans ahead. He approached, I just tell you this because nothing is certain, but he just approached an American management. So we are looking forward to cross the ocean and perform some gigs there as well. So
brilliant. Well, as far as the Americans are concerned, you tick every box, don't you? You've got an Irish singer and an Italian pianist. You kind of like their whole heritage. You cover off so many so many Americans there.
We don't know when it's going to happen because America, as you know, in terms of COVID-19 is much behind. I know Americans won't fly here to perform at clubs like Ronnie Scott until January.
No,
they can't. They really can't. So
no.
It's going to be, we lost 1 year. Yeah. Unbelievable.
It's incredible, isn't it? Really, really is. And I think that the world is going to be a different place when we get back to any sort of normality. It's not going to be the same as it was. And I think as far as the music industry is concerned, I think that the same is true. I'm hoping there might be some positive changes. I don't know how they might look, but I'm hoping there might be. I hope people value musicians, actors, creatives in the same way that we're starting to value, teachers and doctors and nurses and, even bin men. I think we've all got more respect for people that empty the bins because they carried on doing that.
Absolutely.
And I think if we have more respect.
Yeah. Also, this pandemic is going to change the world in a certain way because look, for example, the smart working. Lots of companies realize that they've been in business anyway, despite working from home. And probably they carry on. Think about how many people not going to London anymore by train in the morning. So it's gonna be different. It's gonna be different.
Yes.
Don't ask me the music industry. I don't know. We all looking forward to restart. I have now approached in a French management in Paris. I'm looking forward to perform quite serious concerts and festival with my trio plus Max Ionata, the amazing sax player.
Oh, he's amazing.
Yeah, featuring my latest album, New Roads. In France, he said it's too early to contact people. No one is able to give an answer right now. Probably September, October could be the right time to restart the engine, you know?
Yeah. Well, we'll have to see what happens, but I look forward to. But perhaps you will be my first gig before lockdown and my first gig after lockdown. Who knows?
I wish so. I would be
Great.
honored to have you in the middle of the crowd.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
At this lodge for this upcoming concert, the plan is, if the weather is good, as I wish, is to perform outside, so people can bring their own gazebo, their own chair, and everything. It is a shame for me because inside this lodge there is such a wonderful Steinway Grand Coda.
Oh wow.
1920, still in perfect conditions. When I saw the piano and I played the piano for 5 minutes, I couldn't believe it. Normally, you expect the piano is not in tune, but that is quite normal. But also, the keyboard itself is not in good condition. In brief, it is possible the piano is not playable. Instead, was much better the piano I have at home.
Wow.
Absolutely. Yeah, because has been for all these years in a place which is not humid, too much humid. So was in the right environment, and it's absolutely in beautiful condition. Probably this time in September, I have to perform outside with my stage piano rather than probably the winter. Next time is going to be inside. I'm looking forward.
I wonder if that's something, because isn't the Yehudi Menuhin school in Bushy? So I wonder if
that school. Forgive me.
Yeah, no, I wonder if there's a link somewhere that's why the school is there, because there's somebody who, because you've got to care about a piano, haven't you, to keep it for nearly 100 years in such great condition. And so I'm going to look into that. I'll find out about that.
But I don't think so anyway. All I know is that the piano was belonging to a rich man. He married a much younger girl, and she played this piano. So practically, I think that piano used to have just one single owner. That obviously this man probably died 20-30 years ago, but the piano is still there. No one moved the piano, and beautiful. Absolutely.
Oh, amazing. Well, there we are. We'll see what happens in September.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Right. Well, it was lovely to talk to you. It was so nice, Marco. Thank you.
It's been a pleasure for me too. Absolutely.
Yeah. Fantastic. And I look forward to hearing you play properly. And I will put links on the show notes for the podcast so that people can find you online, find you on Facebook, and then, get more people attending your online concerts.
Yeah. I invite people to follow me on Facebook. They can follow my page, which is called Marconi Jazz, or Instagram with the same name, or Twitter with the same name. They can visit my website, marcomarconi.com, to be updated on my upcoming performances in this country, probably abroad next summer. And that's all. I'm very happy to have supporters. We need supporters all the time.
Definitely. Okay, thank you so much, and I look forward to hearing you play live soon.
Thank you so much, Hilary. Hope to see you again soon. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Bye.
It was great to talk to Marco, and I do look forward to hearing him play live again soon. Thank you so much for joining me again on Harmonious World. Please subscribe, that helps me, but also leave a review, a 5-star review with a comment about how I can improve would be really helpful. So thank you for joining me, and I look forward to talking to you again next week. Thank you for listening to the latest episode of Harmonious World. My name is Hilary Seabrook, and it's a great delight to bring this series of discussions with musicians and composers and writers and all sorts of people to you. Obviously, there's no point in having a podcast if people aren't listening, and I'm very grateful to my listeners for doing so. Thanks also to Joe English for composing and performing this new theme tune. So wherever you get your podcast, you can leave a review. You can share this with your friends and family, either as a link or on social media and that sort of thing. I'd be really grateful for that. Don't forget that you can subscribe now. There's a link wherever you get your podcasts. So have a great week, and please remember why I started this, which is just to try and make the world a little more harmonious. Thanks for listening to Harmonious World.